Just an assistant in his ear. Right, let me. Yeah. And welcome back to Real Red Talk. This is a preview for the match tomorrow night against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. United fresh off a win against Conte's Spurs, and we're starting to gain a little bit of momentum now as we strive through this busy period. In the gantry tonight, we have two former professional footballers. We have Shreya Souness and Aaron Shearer. How are we doing, lads?
At least I'm not my clothing.
Yeah, no, I'd never do that to you. I would never do that to you. How you doing, Aaron? Good?
Yeah, man, not bad. Obviously, buzzing off Wednesday. Big game tomorrow. Good UFC card. It's going to be a good weekend, man.
Yeah, I forgot you just reminded me of that, actually. And it's on British summertime as well, and it's 7 o'clock. So, yeah. We won't be doing a watch long for that, but I'll definitely be watching it. How are you doing, Shreyas, after 2 hours sleep after that Tottenham game?
Yeah. It still felt like it was worth it. So, the way we played in that game, I didn't feel that bad. I only got 2 hours of sleep, and then I had to pretty much stay awake for the next 14 to 15 hours. So it was still worth it. And yeah, the week has been fairly good. How are you doing, Nick?
Yeah, good, mate. Like yourself, on Wednesday, I've had 2 hours sleep, but I've got a whiskey and I've got some food now, so I'm happy. That's all you need. With me, I am so easy. If you just give me whiskey and lemonade and some food, I'm happy, mate. Honestly, I'm light work. Now, I know you're all desperate to get into the preview, so before we start, please subscribe, like, and share the channel to friends, football fans, whatever. We appreciate all the support that you continue to show. So thank you very much to everyone and the ever-growing community. It's the watch along. The numbers on Wednesday, I think we got 2,000 on the watch along, and then we've got over 1,000 on the review. So yeah, great numbers, and they keep going up, and that's thanks to you lot. So thank you very much for that. As always, you guys know the drill with the starter previews. It's a little bit of trivia to start off, but this time I switched up a little bit because I always do trivia. So I switched it up. I've done quick fire trivia. So I just need one answer from each of you, and obviously it's going to be related to Chelsea and United. So the first question I've got: who has more goals, Aubameyang or Ronaldo this season?
Aubameyang.
Remember, quick fire, Shreyas.
Ronaldo.
I feel like it's a trick question, though.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Aaron. Trick question. Both have got one goal this season in the Prem. Who has more goal involvements in the Premier League currently, Rashford or Sterling?
Rashford.
Correct. Rashford's got 3 goals, 2 assists. Sterling's got 3 goals, 1 assist. So only one more assist. Who has more clean sheets, Chelsea or United?
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Both got the same. 4 clean sheets each. When we beat Chelsea in the Champions League final, who were the goal scorers and who missed the penalties?
Ronaldo, Lampard.
Nice. They're the goal scorers.
Ronaldo missed a penalty. John Terry missed a penalty. And
Who did that?
Anelka.
Yeah, absolutely. Smashed it out of the park there towards the end. Smashed it. That was quite quick, that, to be fair. So fair
Yeah, I mean, I was 4 years old, so I don't really have that memory.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's absolutely fair enough. I forget that. You're only 19, aren't you, Treyas?
Yeah.
Fair enough. It made me feel like, it made me feel like a boomer. That's the first time I've ever felt like a boomer in my life. Anyway, looking at the game tomorrow night, lads. Again, a clash between 2 teams that are both going for that top 4 spot. Chelsea have won 6, drew 2, and lost 2. Still fresh under that manager bounce. Obviously, Graham Potter taking over the reins there from Thomas Tuchel. He's been mixing up systems, individual players, swapping a few things about in-game tactically to see what works best, but he's still getting results at the same time. These 2 managers have previously clashed before at the start of the season when Potter was in charge at Brighton. I think we all remember that game, don't we? When we lost 2-1. And of course, the circumstances are a lot different now. So I personally see this game being a lot more even, regardless whether it's Chelsea or not at Stamford Bridge. I see it being very even, considering the 2 teams' forms. Just a couple of questions on Chelsea as a threat, lads. Shreyas, what are your thoughts on them as a team under Graham Potter currently?
I think they're a lot more organized. I think on the ball they look really, really well. I think on certain occasions when they don't really have that much possession, it's like we saw against Brentford when they came up against a side that is actually stacked really well. They do tend to struggle a bit to create, but otherwise, I think as a side on the ball, they're really good. I think under Graham Potter, Mason Mount has been able to find some desperate form as well. I think their defense looks really, really well. I think Koulibaly seems to have found himself under Graham Potter as well. So the defense looks good. The attack looks good. The midfield, I think that's an area where they're still actually, trying to figure out what's their perfect midfield looking like because they're still making a couple of tweaks around there. So that could be an area where we can actually, exploit them a bit. But except that, I think Potter has done a great job coming back in. Considering the time he came back in and after the signings that Chelsea have made, he's been able to integrate everyone pretty much into his system. And yeah, I think Chelsea look really consistent. I mean, they've not since he's come in, they've scored like 18 goals or something. So I think they're right now a very well organized and well-rounded squad.
And one of their standout players, Aaron, of course, is Mason Mount, who's been in great form for them. What do we do tomorrow to nullify that threat?
Well, I think Fred and Casemiro should play.
Fredinho.
And I literally would. I'd have Fred on the energy. Just obviously tracking him, doing all the dirty work. Like Casemiro's good at breaking up play, getting in between. But I'd just have Fred. Obviously, Bruno tracks back as well. I think we've just got to be high energy against, like we were against Tottenham. Don't give him time. Don't give him time to play on the ball. Because that's the best I've seen us press. Obviously, it's the best I've seen us play in ages. But like as in the press, everyone was pressing, and it was like it wasn't one was pressing and then there was a gap and then they were waiting to press it. It was just all timed and all the formation was perfect. So I think there has to be that again.
I described them in the show yesterday when I was on with Adam and Sam. I said it was like the first time you've seen all the band come together. Usually it's like one of the guitarists is playing well or one of the drummer. If you used to use an analogy, we'd always have like an individual player who stood up, but never as a collective have we looked how we did on Wednesday night, I thought.
Yeah, like defensively, I thought we were bang on. Like in basketball, there's a term and you say like you play defense on a string. So like if the ball shifts, the defense shifts, you know what I mean? And you're in unison. Yeah. And I think it was like on a string, like we'd press and we'd be pressing in the right areas, not pressing in the corner and then letting it get through and coming pressing again.
Yeah, that's spot on. I was saying analogy, but yeah, you're spot on with what you're saying. I think Casemiro and Fred are definitely going to play an important part with that, and communication is going to be key because Mason Mount's one of them. Very intelligent, plays between the lines, can play multiple positions, and he's only 22 or 23 years old. I think top talent. It'd be interesting to see how he gets on at the Euros, at the World Cup, because I think he's underrated. Mason Mount.
Yeah,
I do. A lot of people don't rate him.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Works really hard as well. He's a workhorse.
People used to saying it, oh, Lampard favoured him and that, but no, I think he's a good player, me.
Yeah, absolutely. Chelsea, as a team in general, currently 1 point ahead of us in the league. If we was to beat them tomorrow, how significant will that be for the top 4 race, especially if we beat them at Stamford Bridge? And if we do it convincingly, like we did against Tottenham, it's going to be pretty significant, isn't it?
Yeah, I think considering whoever wins that game actually moves into the top 4, because if we win, we leapfrog Chelsea and move into 4th position. If Chelsea do win it, they extend the gap between us and them to 4 points. So it is a very, very important game for both the teams. Like I mentioned before, both teams are pretty much on a similar trajectory, Chelsea as well as United. And except that, I think if we do end up winning this game, it is going to be a massive confidence booster for our club, because considering I think we played 10 games until now, and Chelsea will be the 11th game. And within those 11 games, we played City, we played Tottenham, we played Liverpool, and then we would have played Chelsea as well. So and Arsenal, exactly. So pretty much every big club we have already faced within the first 11 games of the season. And if we manage to get like 23 points or 22 points within those games, then I think we are pretty much in a really, really good position, because then when games like Bournemouth, Fulham, and these sort of games come up, we can actually take points and cement our position in the top 4. So the next fixture becomes really, really important. And
Yeah.
I think even for Chelsea, it is a really, really important game, because they're going to have to rotate a lot with the Champions League games coming up as well soon. And we've seen how much teams like Chelsea, teams like Arsenal suffer because of injuries, which do happen because of the high volume of games that are going to be coming up. So this game is going to be high intensity, especially it is at Stamford Bridge. So it is going to be a little tougher for us, but yeah, I do expect us to actually, bring some momentum from the Tottenham game into this one.
Absolutely, that was one of the best performances I've seen from the United side in like I said before to you, before we went on, in years, from start to finish. Absolutely dominated them. We had 30 shots on goal. We were consistently creating chances. The press was perfect. Communication, decision making was spot on. And dare I say it, we actually looked like a dangerous team. And everyone was on the same kind of singing from the same hymn sheet, which has been a hot fucking minute since it's been like that. It's been a while, so it's refreshing to see. Just on that performance in particular Wednesday night, Aaron, do you feel like that could be maybe just a flash in the pan? Because we've seen a lot of inconsistency from these players before. I know there's a few new ones in there, Lissandro, Casemiro, Antony, but there's still the same ones like Luke Shaw and Rashford who have looked really good at times, but then they drop off really quick.
I think we're capable of sustaining it. Just there is quality in the team. We know that. Like half of them, that's what annoys us the most. It's not that they're not capable. It's that they're just not doing it. You know what I mean? Like we know they've got it in them. So I can't see why. I mean, I'm not going to say that we're going to play like that every game. But I feel, like you say, like Shreya said before, we've mixed it with all the big teams. Bar City, we've mixed it with the big teams. You know what I mean? Whether it's been on the counter attack or whether it's been present. I think Tottenham were perfect to play against like that style. They don't high press. They sit in and defend. And when they've got the ball, they're like, I don't think they're great attacking. I feel like it's counter attacking. They play off moments, kind of like we did under Solskjaer. I think their attacking is a bit like that. But now I think we can sustain it. Obviously, the only thing that's lacking really is conversion. I mean, you think we had someone that was banging in goals in form, we've probably beat Newcastle. Well, we would have probably stole the game at the end. I think that's been our only downfall. We get someone consistently scoring like Rashford. He just needs to start placing it. Like I think Henry was right, man. He'll be like 5 yards out and he'll blast it at the keeper. I think it, but that can be coached. Yeah. I think we get a consistent.
I feel like he needs, Aaron? I feel like he needs like a Van Nistelrooy with an arm around his shoulder and just talk to him in depth and be like, look, if you get into this certain situation,
Solskjaer could have done that.
Yeah. Or if you're on this angle, well, he had decent numbers under Solskjaer, didn't it? In the 1920 season, when he was putting up big numbers, it was under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't have a clue, but it's in him. That's the frustrating thing. We've seen it so many times, and I think his overall performance. I'm not just saying this because I put it out there. I don't mind him as a number 9 as long as he starts refining his game in terms of when it comes to finishing and decision making at times. But I thought Wednesday he did everything right apart from finishing. Like off the ball, his movement, like everything, I thought was really good.
It was that one where where he got it on the right hand side, and he skinned like 2 defenders, and he's chopped back.
Yeah,
and he saved it with one hand, but it's like he's blasted at him, put him low. He wouldn't have got down quick enough.
Yeah. And that could be the difference sometimes. It's very small margins. From attack to midfield, Treyas, what do we do about the Christian Eriksen situation? Because Fred played incredible against Tottenham. He was one of the man of the matches for me alongside Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. Do you drop him for this Chelsea game or do you start Eriksen? And don't try not to go into obviously your predicted 11 too much if you
Obviously. I think considering the way Fred actually played against Tottenham, it is quite difficult to drop him because the way we were able to press them in the midfield, the way he was intercepting the ball, and the kind of balls he was actually playing forward for Rashford as well. I think if Rashford would have had his finishing boots on, he could have gotten 2 assists just from Rashford scoring 2 goals because he created some really good opportunities in that game. Overall, he was able to shut down Tottenham's defense quite well. He worked well around Casemiro as well, but I think against Chelsea, we do need someone more dynamic. Only my personal preference would be to go for Eriksen because Chelsea are going to be way more organized than Tottenham, and they're going to be much more constructive going forward. They're not just going to sit back, just wait to hit us on the counter. They are more of a possession-based size. Even though they play a similar formation, you would see Chelsea going for 60 to 65% possession. So I think in these sort of scenarios, you would want to have someone like Christian Eriksen who can play that ball, who has that vision of a pass at the blink of a second, and that's the only reason I would go for Eriksen because we still don't know what kind of midfield Chelsea would go for, and with Eriksen, he gives you that certainty of that clear pass being played. He looks after the ball really well. He's able to maintain possession. He's able to take the pressure of the back 4. And to be really honest, we haven't really seen the dynamic of Casemiro and Eriksen up until now. Who knows? Maybe it is an upgrade to Casemiro and Fred because Eriksen covers a lot of ground as well. Eriksen, considering the way things happened with him, the way he actually, he actually is a workhorse on the pitch. He covers exactly every blade of the grass on the pitch. And personally, I would go for Eriksen, and probably later on when the 60 or 65th minute kicks in, bring on Fred against tired legs. He is able to bring that energy into the midfield, and hopefully it works. But yeah, for me, just because of the vision, just because Chelsea are not like Tottenham, they're not just going to be all about physicality, I would go for Eriksen.
What about yourself, Aaron? How are you going about that situation?
I would play Fred. I was just going to say, I've seen I meant to send it in the group before. I've seen a heat map of Fred's
average. Casemiro?
Yeah, and he's like so much higher up. But I felt like Ranić got the best out of Fred last season when he was pushing him higher up in an advanced role.
Yeah.
Not playing a number 10, that was awful when he played number 10 in Europa the other week. But as an 8, I think yeah, man. I'd keep the team the same. I wouldn't even change it. I feel like when you've played that well, how can you drop someone?
Yep.
And I feel like with their wing backs and that, they're basically playing midfield 5, and I feel like Fred would probably be more suited because Eriksen, he covers a lot of ground, but he's not the quickest. You know what I mean? I feel like somewhere, you know what I mean? Yeah, like a Darren Fletcher or whatever.
Well, you noticed that point that you mentioned there about Eriksen is a little bit too slow. That happened in the derby, didn't it? He got caught out a little bit. Didn't have the pace to kind of get back, and then they ended up scoring. So yeah, fully validate that opinion, 100%. Now, lads, of course, the elephant in the room, or the goat in the room, should I say, Cristiano Ronaldo will not be involved in this game due to him walking out of Old Trafford and refusing to come on as a sub on Wednesday. That was confirmed by Eric Ten Hag in the press conference today. I haven't spoke to you lot yet about it on the show. Just give me your opinions on that situation. Aaron, I know you had some things you wanted to say on it, so I'll let you go first, and then Strayers, I'll ask you for your opinion on it as well.
Yeah, man, I've got a lot about this. As you probably know, I've backed Ronaldo pretty much all season. Stemming back, man, I want to take it further back, like from the summer.
Oh, it's going deep.
It's like, I just feel like it all could have been avoided. I don't think Ronaldo's handled it well. I don't think we've handled it well. I think it's just been a mess. Like, going back to we knew he wanted to leave from, like, when was it? July? Was it July he came out and said?
June, end of June.
It was a week before pre-season, I think it was.
Yeah.
So we've known since then. He didn't come back for pre-season, for family reasons. I can take that. Obviously, he lost a child. I can't even imagine what that's like. And he missed one game and came back, so he didn't have time to grieve really. So I give him the benefit of the doubt on that. But it's like he's remained firm in his stance that he wanted to go. Whether there was teams or not, there's contradicting stories. There's stories come out today. David Ornstein saying that there was no suitable offers. But I just feel like.
Right, can I add a tiny little bit just to that bit that you mentioned?
Yeah, go on.
Tiny thing. I think that this is the way it went. There was offers, but no one wanted to pay a fee for him. So people would have paid his wages, but they didn't want to pay a big fee for him. So that's where I think there's there's a bit of mist when it comes to the transfer of Ronaldo.
But even like that, man, like just let him go then. Just let him go, you know what I mean? And bring in another striker.
His contract, would you just be like, just dust your hands off and say, right, rip up the contract, you go wherever you want? Is that how you would handle it if you was the CEO?
Well, didn't we basically do that with Wayne Rooney when he left? Because Everton didn't pay a fee for him.
Did they not? I thought they paid a fee for him.
No, I'm sure they didn't pay a fee for him, and he just went.
I don't know. You might be right.
I don't know, man. I just think. I know a lot of words have been thrown around, disrespectful from either side, but he's a legend at the club. Just let him go. Just let him go amicably, because it was always going to get to this. It was always going to get messy like this. A player like Cristiano, if you keep him, he wants to play. So you keep him and make him ride the bench. It's only going to go one way.
Yeah.
He's all about numbers and his legacy and that, and he's going to see it on the bench. I'm not contributing. It's hurting my image, my brand. He's all about that.
Yeah.
But you can't walk out on your teammates. Like, I can't condone
Unacceptable. Unacceptable, that for me.
Playing sports myself, it's just something you wouldn't do. Like when I always go back to basketball, but when I stepped on the court, like, they're your brothers, man. You fight for every possession for them. You know what I mean? And then to be winning, I could understand if we was a goal down or we were drawing, but to be playing the best football we've probably played in ages, dominating the game, you didn't need to come on. Save yourself for sight. It's like you don't see the bigger picture. You're 37 years old. You've played a frustrating game against Newcastle. Just take the time in it. I don't know, man. For me, you can't come back for that. It's too far now, and I back Ten Hag. Like, he's been put in a shit situation. Whether he wanted rid of, obviously there's reports he was sanctioned, would have let him go if an offer came in.
Yeah,
which I fully believe that, by the way.
Yeah, I do. And his hand's kind of been forced, because I was a bit critical of him saying that he shouldn't sit in a press conference if he didn't want him, saying, he's going to be part of my plans and that, but. You don't go into work as a boss and tell a guy that's you debating getting rid of, saying, I don't know if I want you anymore. He ain't going to do nothing in work, is he? So you've got to keep the ship happy. And Ten Hag's been given a bad hand, I think, with the whole situation. And I think what his press conference today was bang on. Everything he said was perfect.
Yeah. It was.
Whether we see Ronaldo play for United again, I don't know, because there's not that many games now coming up for the World Cup. I think I had a look today, and Premier League games.
I think we've got 4 games. Yeah, 3 or 4.
Whether he plays in Europa a couple more times, like just to give him a send off. I don't know. And then after the World Cup, I think our next game's Boxing Day. So I honestly don't think he'll play for United again, which is a shame that it's come to this. But it's going to be best for all parties. Let's just move on before he tarnishes his legacy anymore. Because the fans, I think, if this is the thing and then he doesn't do nothing else, I think fans will forgive him. And fans can kind of understand the frustration. But you start walking out or refusing to train, refusing to play, not being around the team, it's not going to be considered a United legend anymore.
Yeah. There's a few points I want to throw towards you, Shreyas. First one is, it always comes back to these fuckers, doesn't it? Because I have a feeling, a suspicion. Well, there was a lot of reports coming out surrounding Joel Glazer and the board saying they weren't fans of sanctioning this move for Cristiano. They could have done it in the summer, just let him go, and if there was, but they didn't. We saw what happened with Casemiro and Antony. They have no structure to the transfers whatsoever. They're an absolute nightmare. The shit, as far as I'm concerned. And I hope the news about Edwin van der Sar, which we will touch on over the weekend, I hope that is true, because if we get someone like him in, you start to see actual structure then about Ten Hag.
Exactly.
The other question I want to throw to you about Ronaldo as well is, I feel like Ten Hag coming in needed a scapegoat. I'm not saying he's purposely done this. But him doing this to a massive profile player like Cristiano Ronaldo sets the example then to every other player who's in that dressing room. And like, fucking hell, if he's doing that to Ronaldo, one of the greatest of all time, dropping him and not even bringing him to a game, like, what's he going to do to me? That kind of, it sets the precedent, doesn't it? So just give us your thoughts on that, on them few points that I've made, and your opinion on the whole thing in general.
I think with Ten Hag, with Cristiano, I think there are still a lot of things that are still not certain. I think there are still a lot of things that are unclear. The only thing, like you mentioned, that is clear is how the Glazers actually conducted themselves in this window with Ronaldo. I think, in a way, in similar fashion, it happened to Oli as well during the end of his term, that it got so bad that in the end, it was his legacy that at the club that was, actually getting slandered a lot. I mean, he was a club legend. He gave us pretty much, the most iconic moments for any United fan out there. But the way things actually went down at the end of his reign, it was quite disrespectful. And if the Glazers wanted, if the owners wanted, they could have stopped that from happening, but they didn't. And quite similar to that, it is happening with Ronaldo now. I think from Ronaldo's side, it is also a lot to do with his desperation to be on the pitch. Because the guy's 37 or 38 now. I think he's pretty much got just 1 or 2 years of his career left. So he wants to, make the most of it. He doesn't really want to miss any opportunity that he might be able to get to be on the pitch and get on the score sheet. And right now, he's not getting it at Manchester United. Could it have to do with Ten Hag set a tone in the locker room that he's the guy who's going to be, the main person around there? No player power is definitely going to be considered. Maybe, I think in a way it is a good call as well that players would, want to respect the manager. They wouldn't want to misconduct themselves in training or when they're playing on the pitch. But yeah, I think the way it has gone down with Ronaldo, it's really disappointing, because he is a club legend. And for him to actually, walk out of a game when we are playing that well at the 88th minute, I think it does leave a sour taste. And I think for any club out there, you wouldn't want your club legend to just walk out of the stadium before the match gets over when you're actually pulling one of the best performances you've had in the past 2 to 3 seasons. And I think overall, once again, it's might actually affect his legacy at the club. Hopefully, he's able to fix it. Hopefully, he's able to come out with something that is more specific, that is more clearer. Because right now things are really vague from both the managers end, from the players end as well. I mean, if you look at it in that sort of perspective, Ten Hag has just come about with statements. Ronaldo is just walking off the pitch. It's a lot of mixed statements. It's a lot of mixed emotions as well. So there is still a lot of, I would say, there is still a lack of clarity. But I think the main culprits definitely for this are definitely going to be the Glazers. If we are not going to be using Ronaldo, if Ten Hag would have, gone about with, I do prefer Rashford over Ronaldo in certain, if Martial is not going to be there, just let him leave. Just let him play for another club. But they still kept him at the club, mostly because Ronaldo is going to sell a lot of merchandise. Ronaldo is going to sell those tickets. I think once again he is an icon. He is going to get massive revenue in for the club. So they just looked at the financial side of it once again, but it is definitely going to affect the image of the club as well as the image of the player, of one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Go on, Aaron, if he was going to go in.
Literally just thinking then as Shreyas was talking, I tried to. In some ways, it's going to sound mad, and I'm not trying to defend him any way. Like what he did was wrong, but for Ronaldo, it's actually like to feel sorry for him a bit, because I think since like 2005, 2006 to now,
yeah,
wherever he's played, every week he's been the first name on the team sheet, and he's won obviously multiple trophies, multiple Ballon d'Ors. For now, for him to not know whether he's going to play every week, and that what it does to your ego, what it does to, it must be hard to take for anyone. Like he's been the world's best, like I say, first picked, and now he doesn't know whether he's playing or not. He probably doesn't know how to handle it. You know what I mean? Like he's remained
never
professional.
Happened to him. It's like 18 years at the top, innit? Like,
exactly.
But like, he actually had. I don't know if you've seen it, Aaron. He had Jordan Peterson come round to his house as the world-renowned psychologist. So there's obviously some underlying kind of issues there that he wanted to resolve, and whether it's a mental thing, I'm not entirely sure. But it must be so hard at being at the top level, winning everything in the game, and now you all of a sudden within 6 months, a couple of months' time, it's just boom, done.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like last season, he scored like 24 goals. He was key to us last season, and now you're being told, you're a bench player or a rotation player. Like you're not guaranteed to play.
Well, Ten Hag is right in doing it though, because I think if Ten Hag had the same sympathy as us as fans, then I think it'd turn out the same way under Ole. I think he'd continue to play, and then it'd affect the rest of the team.
When you're in charge and you've got to make the decision, you've got to be ruthless. And I'm not saying it's the wrong decision, but from the player's perspective, it must be hard to take, man.
100%. One thing I want to mention that I look at, you look at how Arteta handled Aubameyang. Now I know Aubameyang was, you could say, obviously he's different to Ronaldo because Ronaldo's Ronaldo, but they're both top scoring strikers in the Premier League, or had really good seasons in the Premier League. And as soon as Arteta got rid of Aubameyang, that little bit of rot at the time, look what's happened to them this season. The players up top, they brought in Gabriel Jesus up top, a striker that they needed, which we need a striker right now, and that's just knitted the last bit of play together there. And all four of them, that Ødegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus up top are absolutely flying. So I think they do need to remove the rot. I hate calling it the rot because it's Ronaldo, but this can't continue. It just can't. Or like if it goes past January and we have to talk about it up until the summer, it's just gonna like take the distraction away from everything. It's just a one giant distraction, and we need to get rid of it.
Again, man, commercial decision instead of a football decision has led us to this again.
Always is. Now, I said at the start of the preview in the quickfire trivia, United and Chelsea both have 4 clean sheets each. We both lost questionable games this season. Chelsea have lost to Leeds and Southampton. I think that was under Tuchel though, and we obviously lost to Brentford and Brighton at the start of the season. But both teams are putting really good performances as well. It seems when it comes to form, we're actually really mirroring each other. I think there's like one loss in between it in terms of results, won, lost, and draw. If you look at the history books, they tell us that we tend to struggle at Stamford Bridge. It's always a tough place to go. 2012 was the last time we beat them at their ground, and that was under Sir Alex Ferguson. So 10 years ago was the last time we beat them there. Obviously, we beat them in the cup when Rashford scored that banger, the free kick. But apart from that, in the league, it's 2012. And in our last 5 meetings, we have 4 draws, and we've won 1. So if you're a fan of stats, I'd probably put your money on a draw tomorrow, considering all the variables. Before we dive into the ones to watch, for the game tomorrow, are you confident going into this? Give me a percentage going into this game. Where's your head at?
I still think I'm like high off the midweek one, so I'm going to say 75%.
75% sure we'll get a win. That is, yeah.
I think on that, we actually beat Chelsea at the Bridge in 2020.
With who?
United versus Chelsea in the league. Yeah, we did. Martial and Maguire scored 2-0.
Marcel Maguire scored. When I was looking at the head-to-head before, when I was going down him, the first one I found that said win Manchester United, was that at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, just after
Yeah.
Bruno came in.
Well, apologies. I can only apologise for that. When I went through the head-to-heads before, and I was looking at it in depth as well. I was going through them, and the one I saw was 2012 Alex Ferguson. But fair enough. But we don't. I think the point to make out of it is we don't win there often. It is a very tough place to go. And in the last 5 games, we've drew 4 and won 1. So lost 1. Sorry. So it's going to be a tough game. Where's your head at, Shreyas, with the percentages?
I think it's a 50-50 game for the first time in a while. I would say with United, it is going to be a 50-50 game because our defense looks really, really good. I think even if Chelsea create a lot, I think our defense is going to be able to resist it. I think our defense now, it is able to absorb pressure quite well. Varane and Martinez once again are going to be key. I think if Dalot is able to perform the way he played against Tottenham, I think definitely we'll be looking really sorted. Whether Luke Shaw is going to play, whether Malacia is once again going to play, you never know if Ten Hag wants to rotate things about a bit because of the high intensity of games. But I think with the fullbacks as well, we are pretty much sorted. So our defensive line still looks really good. Even if someone gets knackered, we have good cover in that area, at least in the left back and centre backs position for players to come in. But I think it is going to once again come down to our finishing. I think once again against Tottenham, if we would have been able to take our chances, we could have easily ended that game 5 or 6-0. Similarly, I think against Chelsea, the most important thing is going to be whenever we get the chance, we convert them. Because Chelsea isn't going to be a team which is going to throw away chances every single minute. If we end up missing a chance, that's going to cost us a lot in that game.
Yeah. Give me one player tomorrow, Aaron, to watch who you think is going to be the danger man. Could be for Chelsea, could be for Manchester United. Who have you got your eye on?
I'm going to say Anthony again. I said it on Wednesday, but I think he's going to be tomorrow as well.
I was not having an argument. I was having a debate with my mate last night, and he was like, "I don't see what everyone sees in Anthony. He's one-footed and blah blah blah." And I was like, "I don't get this narrative." Every time I've watched Anthony, I feel like he's been our best player or one of the best players that have been performing for us. I don't understand that. And even if he does cut in on his left, you saw what he did against City. Saw what he did against Arsenal, and he hit the post, didn't he, against Tottenham? Against Tottenham, that hit the post.
It's the FIFA generation, man, that think, oh, you're 5-star weak foot and shit like that. It's like, it is, man. It's mate, Ian Robin, David Beckham, Valencia. They're just ones that I can think of that come straight to me. I don't know one-footed as anything.
Bring it to modern day. Look at Phil Foden. Phil Foden is very left-footed. Rarely uses his right foot.
Messi's very left-footed, though.
Yeah, it's just makes no sense to me. I'm happy with him. I think he's doing really well. He's already equalled Sancho's tally from last season, and we paid a similar price for him. And I didn't see a lot of people piping up, not to shit on Sancho, but I think since he's coming, he's had a really good impact. What about yourself, Shreyas? One player to watch for tomorrow you think is going to be the danger man?
For us or them?
Any team you want. Anyone who worries you, or anyone you look at from our side and you think, yeah, it's going to cause damage.
I think player bias once again from my side. I think David De Gea will cause a lot of problems to Chelsea by his amazing distribution.
He was good on Wednesday. He was good on Wednesday. I criticised him, as you know, Shreyas, heavily. But he was good. He was.
Yeah, I mean.
So David De Gea.
David De Gea. I think David De Gea man of the match by his amazing distribution.
As you can tell, Shreyas is a fan of David De Gea.
I've noticed with De Gea when it's like just 2 perfect games like after each other. Newcastle, where it's frantic, high tempo. I feel like he's rushed and his distribution's poor. But obviously, come back to Wednesday where we're dominant. We were like in control of the game. His distribution was bang on.
Yeah,
and I feel like he just needs to calm down.
I've watched a few clips back from that game. I said to you before we went live. I was watching like a tactical analysis on it, and there was so many passes just zipped out to the left, zipped out to the right, was on camping in the edgy 18-yard box, sweeping up. Like, that's all you want from him. If you can do it, just produce it on a consistent basis. I suppose it's a similar thing with a lot of our players. For me, tomorrow, ones to watch is the wing backs, because the way Chelsea play, when they have Sterling and Mount, they always go narrow, like inverted wingers, and then you've got to worry about Cucurella, or it won't be Reece James. Reece James is injured, but whoever it is who's playing on there, I think I would focus on Luke Shaw and Dalot tomorrow. The concentration and decision making. That's something because they're gonna be pulled left, right, and centre from the wing backs pushing on and from when the forwards tuck inside. Like Sterling and Mount are really smart players as well. So I'd keep an eye out for that.
I think on the right, Aspilicueta is gonna play for them. I think on the right, so that could be an area where we could actually exploit them.
Yeah, absolutely. Aspilicueta is consistently solid, but when you look at his physical attributes, he's not the best.
Yeah.
You put a Rashford on him or something like that, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
To look to exploit.
Loftus-Cheek though, that was on the right midweek.
And wing back.
If he's playing on the right,
physical.
I think that's where we target.
Yeah, 100%. Quick fire questions, lads. Will both teams score tomorrow?
Yeah.
I think no. I don't think so. Will Rashford score?
No.
Not confident in that. Will Eriksen start?
No.
Hope so.
Any surprise selections tomorrow, do you think, from either team?
I think we line up the same as we did midweek.
I think Chelsea could surprise in the midfield.
They have been chopping and changing quite a lot.
Exactly.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
And the last game they dropped Sterling, Havertz, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So there could be a few surprises in there from Graham Potter. It won't surprise me. He changes formations in game.
Yeah.
Changed like a 3-4-1-1 to a 4-3-3, and then
the most interesting part about Potter is mid game he sometimes he switches to a diamond, sometimes he switches to a normal 4-4-2, then sometimes the wing backs move forward, it becomes a 3-5-2. So it keeps shifting a lot.
I don't know if any of you saw it. He did when Amazon Prime, when the games were on there, Brentford against Chelsea, Thomas Frank and him were on the actual panel, and they was interviewing each other. It's actually pretty. I thought it was class, and they both got to ask each other one question each. And Thomas Frank basically said, "How do you deal with switching in game, switching formations?" He's like, "Well, for us, it's not really about formation. It's just about the way you're playing and the patterns and the movement and stuff like that." But it was really insightful. I'd recommend you to go watch it. I thought it was decent. Let's bring the two teams together. I want to do a little combined 11. Obviously, no Chelsea fan on today to sway our decisions, but we'll start with the goalkeeper. Mendes, Kepa, De Gea, Dubravka. Who would you put in there?
We are considering Dubravka?
Well, he got considered like Fraser Forster got through in there last time and within the fucking Spurs one, so God knows, I don't know who's going to get through in there. You're going to throw De Gea in there, right?
Yeah.
Say De Gea.
De Gea, okay. David De Gea starts in the combined 11 then. Right back, I would throw Reece James in there.
We're talking without injuries, or we're talking just standard?
Yeah.
Yeah, Reece James.
For standard, definitely Reece James.
100%. His all-around game, I think, is really, really good. Centre backs, I'd have Lissandro and Varane at the minute as a partnership. 100%. But Thiago Silva's there as well. But if we're playing a back 4-3-3, I'm having Lissandro and Varane.
I think right now no one comes near both of them. I think right now they're the most, I would say, formidable partnership. Honestly, they're the most formidable partnership out there.
I agree.
Yeah, I can't argue, to be honest.
Yeah. Left back's an interesting one because I think you've got Malacia, Luke Shaw, Chilwell, Cucurella. Who would you personally throw in there?
Personally, I think on the basis of current form, I would actually throw Luke Shaw in there because I think against Tottenham, he was actually really, really good. I think he went a little under the radar, but he actually was really, really good. I think Luke Shaw has basically earned his spot back from Malacia. He's worked, I think, a lot to get back into the first 11. So I think right now I would go for Luke Shaw because in the Chelsea side, I haven't really seen that sort of spark from the wing backs. It has been heavy rotation out there.
Okay. Aaron?
I'll go Ben Chilwell. I feel like he's had a lot of injuries in that, but when he's on form, I think he's a real good player.
See, I've gone for Cucurella. So we would literally I'll pick different ones. I think Cucurella's a really good left back. I just think it'll be a settling in period with Potter, and once he gets used to it, I think he'll be up there. So maybe I'll do a poll for that on Instagram and see what left back other people want to pick for the graphic. Midfield 3, we've got Casemiro. Kante's too injury prone at the minute. Like, he can't get a string of games together. He is obviously class, but I wouldn't throw him into the mix just because of how injured he's been. I'd throw Casemiro, Jorginho, Kovacic, Eriksen, McTominay.
Casemiro, definitely.
Casemiro.
Okay. So he's the
But
anchor.
I feel like Kovacic has to be in there as well.
Kovacic's underrated, isn't he?
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
underrated.
Yeah.
Kovacic.
Yeah.
So you'd have Casemiro, Kovacic, and Eriksen, or Bruno, or Mount.
Actually, yeah, I'd actually go for Mount. I think as good as a game Bruno actually had against Tottenham, we still have to look whether he's able to keep that up, whether he's able to stay consistent. I think Mount right now, he's been really, really good. And I think against Aston Villa, he had them on toast. So for me, Mason Mount in the 10.
I'd go Bruno because I feel like Mount's a steady player and a good player, but Bruno still has that spark. Like he can create something out of nothing sometimes. And yeah, he's gone through a bit of patch where he feels like he's forcing it, but I'd go Bruno, man, on his day, definitely.
Yeah.
I'd go Eriksen. Actually, we'll put Eriksen there. So that's another one I'll throw out there on the poll on Instagram and see what people think. I think they all got individual qualities, but I think Eriksen's been fantastic for us. And I think even if you push him further up, he can cause damage. The attack is what I'm really, really interested in. I'm going to allow, maybe it's just because I want a certain player in there, but I'll allow a false 9 if you want a false 9. But it's a 4-3-3. You can have a false 9 or you can have a number 9. We'll go with the right wing to start off with. Obviously, we've already put Mason Mount's already been put up for a shout as an attacking option in midfield, so we can't have him. But then on the right hand side, I feel like it's got to be Anthony.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, Anthony.
Left wing, Sterling, Sancho, Rashford, or you can have Rashford as a 9, or you can have a Bam.
Rashford as a winger.
Pains me to say it because he played for City, but Sterling.
I would agree with that.
I would still go Rashford as a winger.
Okay. Well, Sterling, obviously, because the majority are, but Sterling on the left-hand side, Anthony on the right. Are you putting up top?
You go first this time, Nick.
I'd put Havertz.
Same.
I really like Havertz.
Yeah, same.
See, I'm old school, man. I like my striker to be clinical finisher, so I'd go Aubameyang.
Yeah. But imagine if we got Sterling and Anthony, imagine Havertz just dropping into that little pocket.
Exactly.
And Anthony and
I think definitely Havertz for me, because I think his ability on the ball and the way he's able to create space and move into it, I think he's a really, really good player.
Physical as well.
Exactly. Yeah, he's physical. He's got, I think, the profile of a false 9 as well, and he works really well in that system. So yeah, and you never know. I mean, Havertz is still finding himself this season. If he kicks on, we've seen how good he actually can be for Chelsea.
Got a goal in the Champions League final as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. This season, he's found form. He looked like he lost his way a bit last season, but this season, man, he does look good.
Okay, well, we'll leave it up to the Instagram or the YouTube viewers, whatever. But with the left back situation and the number 10, Cucurella, Shaw, or Chilwell, and the number 10, Eriksen, Bruno, or Mason Mount. Let us know. I'll put it out there.
No one's voting for Chilwell, man.
It might not be a pod, but people might vote for Cucurella. Everyone might vote for Shaw. It is the United Instagram page, isn't it? So, yeah, I imagine a lot of people go with Shaw. Let's do predicted 11s, Aaron, for tomorrow. How are we lining up? Predict the future.
Obviously, I'll name the team just for
back five. Can we all just say the back five that we're thinking?
Yeah, unchanged back five.
Yeah.
No, I think it says that same as Wednesday. Obviously, same back five. Casemiro, Fred, Bruno, Anthony, Rashford, and Sancho. I don't feel a need to change it. I wouldn't want to change it, to be honest.
I agree with that. Are you gone with the same, Trails?
Yeah, I think there's no need to actually change the back five. It's looking good.
That's the quickest team prediction we've ever done. Score predictions.
Yeah, so you go first.
Shreyas, you've been summoned. Score predictions.
2-1 United. 2-1 United.
2-1 United.
That's the score I was going to go, but I'll go 3-1 United. Yeah.
I don't see a score in that goal. We're creating a lot of chances at the minute, but we're not putting them away. So I think it can be 1-0 United or 1-1. But I'll go with. I'll be positive.
It'll be a tight game, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
I really think. I think both teams will be on it. and it'd be a decent game. But I don't think see a lot of goals. I think it'd be 1-0, 1-1 at a push. That concludes the show, lads. Thank you for watching, everyone in the comment section. Everyone who's going to watch it later on, please subscribe to the channel, like the video if you're excited for the game tomorrow. We will have a live watch along from 4 o'clock, just before the squads get announced. We'll be going live, and if you want to follow us on socials, all the handles are at the bottom of the graphic, or just head to the description in the video link. Thank you to Shreya Souness and Aaron Shearer for excellent punditry. Really appreciate you spending time and analysis with us, lads. And any final thoughts before we head off about the game tomorrow? Whilst I eat this burger.
Let's move into the top four.
I don't know. I just think it's going to be tough, man. Like I feel like where the game's going to let us down is finishing. Nick's frozen mind, so I can't even see what he's doing.
Yeah,
I was going to say, just like I'm trying to finish this burger now. But
yeah.
Any final thoughts, Reyes?
Yeah, I think the only worrisome part tomorrow is gonna be whether Fred kicks back to being Fred again. If I think that's gonna be the most worrisome part, because if Fred actually drops off tomorrow, then we're gonna get swarmed in the midfield.
But I think within 20 minutes, they'll be like, right, Ericsson, go do your thing, mate, because Fred's fucking come back to it. Fred,
we need
he's got a twin.
Fred.
Yeah, he's got a twin Fred. It's Fredinho, or it's just Fred. On Wednesday night, we had Fredinho. A lot of time, it's just usually Fred who's fucking kicking the ball sideways and shit and just doesn't have a clue what he's doing. It's like you've let I don't know if you've asked this before, Aaron. Have you seen Project X?
Yeah.
You know when you let the midget out the oven and he just runs wild? That's what Fred's like on the pitch at times. You just don't know what you're going to get from him. Just kicking shit out of players and shit. So,
I think he's a game changer for at least one team on that pitch in every single game.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We'll end it on that.
That.
Yeah, we'll end it on that. Perfect. Thank you for coming on, guys. We'll see you for the game tomorrow, people. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. Hasta la vista, baby.